Well, good day to each and every one of you, all of you out there in social media land. I tell you what, today is a good day, and I am blessed to be able to not only share this wonderful day with you, but I am blessed to be able to share this day also with my family and with my friends in a beautiful day. It certainly is. I wanted to share with you today. I made an announcement on last week, and I know that this is a YouTube video, and I am sharing it with you from my YouTube page, simply because I didn't want to go live. I know that people are doing this live thing, but I really still haven't had figured out, I should say, how to work that live and how to take advantage of that. Simply because I know people are doing a lot of things throughout their day, and just being able to coordinate times and all that kind of stuff, it's just easier for me to upload it to my YouTube page and then to share with you from there. In addition to that, I used to can just upload straight to Facebook, but if you notice, certain videos or for certain lengths of time, you can't even do that. So, nevertheless, we're thankful for whatever way it is that we are able to share, and I am happy to do so by any means and avenues that I have been that we have access to, right? And so I announced last week that I was going to be talking today about insecurities in marriage. And those of you that are able to, or you've been kind of seeing the different posts that I've been doing on the private Real Housewives of Christianity page, you're also able to see that on yesterday. I mean, I couldn't believe it. What a word of confirmation. On yesterday, in my memory was a video that I had done a few years back on the topic of insecurities. And I tell you, I was just like, oh, wow, okay, this is really what I'm supposed to be talking about. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation, not just because of the season that we're in, but we are working, we as in those that are members of the nonprofit, the Real Housewives of Christianity Association, we're currently working on our publication. And within that publication is how we are surviving. It's called Surviving Corona, the Real Housewives stories. And so we're sharing stories. We're on the prayer line, oftentimes doing our sister check in and stuff, just making sure that, everybody is doing okay. And if we can be of any service or support, to one another. And so when we started talking about and pulling together resources and information about how we are actually feeling while surviving Corona, a lot of the ladies that I've been able to coach along the way, I guess you would say, or just conversate with, depending on how it goes, um, have been feeling sometimes insecure. Insecure in a way because of uncertainties, right? That's what insecurities are. Uncertainties, feeling like basically we lack confidence, feeling like we're not enough, inadequate, just a combination of feelings. And this pandemic, not to say that sometimes some of us didn't feel a certain way before, but recognizing that this pandemic, being in quarantine, isolation, wearing the mask, dealing with the lack of finances, just a whole bunch of stuff. Having allergies and the fear of, oh, maybe I have COVID, your children trying to be safe, social distancing, an overwhelming amount of things that we have to think about each and every day where we didn't have to think about before. In addition to that, some of us are not back to our new normals. Like I am not back to my new norms. I am not in restaurants having dinner or anything like that. Not new norms, but the norms that, the way of life that I was used to living. I am not back there yet. I am still somewhat in semi quarantine. being very careful and using wisdom. Not that I am insecure, because I'm not fearing that something is going to happen, but I am using wisdom with what I am doing, because I have a family and I love my family, and I want to make sure that I do what I can do to protect my family and to keep them safe. So those are just the measures that I have continued, to take. And so some of us have gone back to work, or, whether you are in business as I am, but I'm still doing business from my home office, but some of them are not, and they're back in the public eye, and they're back, dealing with their clients and up close and personal. And so these things bring sometimes anxiety, right? They make you feel some type of way. They make you feel insecure. They make you even feel double minded at times. And so these are, I'm going to take a read through some of these things. These are just a few of the feelings that we can develop and bring about insecurities right now. The reason why we're talking about this is because our individual feelings, our inner feelings, where insecurities are, that's where they live, that's where they reside, they can affect our marriage. And they can also affect, of course, other relationships that we have. Although today, because we're the Real Housewife of Christianity, we believe in building, promoting, and supporting wholesome wives, loving marriages, and healthy families. We're talking about it in the context of marriage, okay? So let's discover, okay, we're going to talk about, well, what is insecurity in marriage? All right. So now, as I've already stated, that insecurity is an inner thing, right? This is a personal thing. This is an individual thing. And that's why we have to be very careful. And this is the reason why we have to identify what they are, those trigger points, and get rid of them. Get rid of them. Okay. So now, sometimes you feel threatened. Sometimes you feel inadequate. There are times when your insecurity is based on irrational thoughts, based on fears, and sometimes just not having even the confidence in your husband, or where we're talking from a wife point of view, not having confidence in your husband that everything is going to be okay. And so you then find, sometimes it says that you will never find anyone better. You think about, in your marriage, he's the best thing ever, I will never find anyone like him. I am not lovable because I look at myself this way, or I look at my flaws, my weight, my hair, my this, my that. And so my attitude, I'm not a lovable person. So these things are serious. They are very serious, and we have to identify them. Where do they come from? Why are they there? And once we do that, you cannot baby those emotions. You cannot harness them and embrace them. No, you have to identify them. What's triggering these things? What type of fears are causing these things? And then we have to pray to the Lord to get rid of them, because the scripture tells us that God has not given us the spirit, understand, the spirit of fear, but of love and a sound mind, a stable mind. Okay. And so that's the reason why this is so important. And that's the reason why we want to tackle these things, so that we can rise to the occasion. We can be the godly women, the godly wives that God created us to be. And we can be the proper, the best, the greatest helpmeet to our husbands that we can ever be, right? Okay, but you can't do that if you're feeling insecure. All right. So now, why do I feel insecure in my marriage? Here's a reason why. If you feel insecure, oftentimes it's because you have not dealt with whatever it is that's putting you in that negative state of mind. Whatever it is that's putting you in that place of feeling uncertain, in that place of feeling helpless, hopeless, powerless. Whatever that is, you haven't dealt with it, right? Okay. Now, maybe we have ignored it, and sometimes we've tried to avoid it, but you got to be able to deal with it. And I'm going to tell you how to get rid of these things in just a few moments. All right. Now, This could be that your needs aren't being met in your marriage. Okay. Maybe you feel like your voice isn't being heard. I hear that quite a bit from wives. Maybe you feel like, you are not as significant in your marriage. Maybe you feel that you are always being, put on the back burner. Maybe you feel that you are not as educated or whatever these thoughts could be. Okay, wherever these negative thoughts are coming from, and we know where they're coming from. Not to say that we don't have real life issues, but they are being magnified by the enemy because he wants to keep us divided. He wants to separate us in marriage. He wants us to harbor all of these unwanted emotions. He wants us to walk in unforgiveness. He wants to make sure that we are not communicating properly. Basically, that our marriage is not being as used ministerially to represent that of God. Okay, that's all that he wants. Okay, he wants us to become angry, frustrated, confused, all that kind of stuff. That's all from the enemy. That's deception. So the things he's whispering in your ear that's causing you to feel insecure, those are just lies. And we have to recognize that as lies, because I am who God created me to be, despite whatever else is going on in my life. And as women of God, first, we have to believe that, okay? And so the other thing could be, or it could have to do with something outside of your marriage, like a lack of self confidence or fear of the unknown. Now, I'm going to pause here for just a moment and share a personal story with you about how I had to deal with insecurities in my marriage. And just like our example gave, or our definition gave, there was a time when, because of a past relationship, I was insecure. And that insecurity rolled over, if you will. I carried it over. Remember, years ago, your minutes could carry over or roll over into the next month. That's what happened. They just rolled over with me into my marriage. And that was because I never dealt with them. I didn't identify what they were so that I could properly deal with them, face them, not embrace them, deal with them, not avoid them, and get rid of them, not mask them. Okay, that's what I had to do. I had to figure out a way to get rid of these insecurities because they were coming between my husband and I. And so I wanted to be free of those things where I could love him, he could love me, and I don't have to always be thinking his motive, right, is something different than genuine, than pure. And that's what happens when we have insecurities. We have a tendency of always looking side-eyed at someone or being paranoid that people don't have good intentions at heart. Unfortunately, that's because we think that good things are too good to be true in our lives. And that's what insecurities will do. They will cause you to ruin, that's right, ruin a very good relationship that has so much potential simply because we are insecure. And not just relationships, but other opportunities, missed opportunities, simply because we didn't deal with these insecurities, and they need to be dealt with, and we can deal with them. Why? Because I can do all things, that's right, through Christ, which strengthens me, even or especially getting rid of these insecurities. So now, because of that, I was very insecure. I grew up being an insecure young lady for various reasons, okay? And so I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think that, I was smart enough and all these different things. And I'm telling you today, I thank God, yes, I do, for delivering me, bringing me out of that state of mind. However, I had to participate in my deliverance process, just like the children of Israel. He didn't just, pick them up from Egypt and take them right into the promised land or into the wilderness. They had to pack their stuff up. They had to pick up their stuff. They had to participate in the journey, and they had to cross the Red Sea. Okay, so now Here we go. Here are a couple of things that you could do to build your insecurities so that they will not ruin your relationship. And we're going to talk about this briefly, and I'm going to give you 8 ways. That's right, 8 ways to get rid of these insecurities. And if I don't get it all done, don't worry, I'll come back. Okay, so now, first of all, you want to build your insecurities. That's how you got to start. Where am I insecure? I need to build my self-esteem. Where area do I feel like I'm lacking? I'm inadequate. That's the area that I'm going to tackle, and I'm going to tackle it with the word of God that I can do all things through Christ which strengthen me, and I'm going to build my self-esteem. Now, you also want to find what's the root, what's the cause of this? Was it something that happened to me as a child? Was it something that I saw or heard or somebody said about me, growing up? Whatever the case, what caused me to feel insecure? Okay. Then you want to be able to have confidence in yourself to where you trust yourself. So that means you have to keep a commitment. You have to keep a commitment. Make yourself a commitment, because what we feel about ourselves is how we treat other people inadvertently is how we treat ourselves. Okay. It's a reflection of that. All right. So if you learn how to trust yourself, you're going to learn how to trust other people. All right. Now, also, I used to be so bad at this. Just stop overthinking. You know what I'm saying? Just stop putting too much into it. We don't have to make a mountain out of a molehill, as my old teacher would tell me. No, let's stop overthinking. It is what it is. People have good intentions too, and just let God be God and trust him, okay? To handle it. That whatever is wrong, he'll make it right. So stop overthinking it. The other thing is sometimes we just need to give ourselves some space to grow and to develop. And we also, if need be, need to give our spouses that space too. Okay. We also need to let go of any negative past relationships, hurts, disappointments, all of that stuff that have contributed to that root, that have caused them branches to start growing, change that attitude and all that kind of stuff, made us bitter instead of better, made us resentful, all of those feelings. We need to get rid of those types of relationships. We will no longer give people permission. That's right. We will no longer give ourselves, nor will we give people permission to treat us as if we are not significant, that we are not enough, that we are not important, that we are not essential. So that means that we have to be willing to put in the hard work and to make hard decisions. So you can't be indecisive, because indecisive is also from insecurities. There's so much stuff there that, Lord willing, we'll keep on talking about it. If you guys like this video and you want to keep on talking on the subject and chiming in, please do so. I'd love to hear from you. Now, let's talk about 7 ways to get rid of this as I approach the conclusion of this video for today. So, number 1, Matthew 22:37 tells us to love the Lord thy God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. If nothing else I've said to you today this matters most. It's when we devote ourselves to God, when we give ourselves totally and completely over to him, it is his word and our confidence in his word that will rid us of these insecurities. Number 2, Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, then all of these things, that's right, shall be added. So we will not feel uncertain. Prioritize your day. Today, I'm seeking God for whatever it is, and I'm trusting that every resource, every provision, everything need be is already in place. It's already done. Okay. Also, Philippians 2, verses 5-8. All of these are familiar scriptures, but we're using them in the context. I'm telling you, this works. I'm sharing with you what the process by which and the scriptures that I use to help me overcome this. All right. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. Was Jesus insecure? Absolutely not. And we are being conformed into his image. So we can't be walking around with these insecurities. All right. Let's see. What's the other one? And I want to say that Hebrews chapter 12:1, number big. Lay aside every weight. Get rid of the unnecessary excess. Get rid of it. Get rid of all of that stuff. Let it go. Okay. That's Hebrews 12:1. Lay aside every weight. Also, we want to develop a meek and quiet spirit. That's First Peter 3 and 4. Inner peace. Quiet your spirit. Sometimes we're so busy that our spirit is also noisy. We have to learn how to quiet ourselves and focus on spiritual growth and development. All right. Philippians 4 and 7, one of the scriptures that I love: be anxious for nothing. That's right. But with prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving, always thanking God, being thankful, having that attitude of thankfulness, let your requests be made known unto the Lord. Right. Philippians 4 and 6. See, these are things that really they kind of center you, and quiet your spirit. And they bring that soundness of mind that we need, that everything is going to be okay. It's all working together for our good. Okay. 1 Peter 5 verses 7 through 9: cast all your cares upon him, because guess what, he care about you. I know that we talk to a lot of people. I know sometimes we think, our husbands have all of the answers, or our girlfriends, our mothers, whomever, sisters, they have all of the answers. But let me tell you something: there is absolutely no one in this world that knows you like God, and that cares about you more, and that loves you more than him. So cast it, throw it at him, leave it there. Don't go back and get it. Leave it right there. Okay. And number 8, Romans chapter 5, verse 13. Put your hope in God. I can't tell you this year. Let me tell you something. This year, well, last year, when we entered into the pandemic, there were so many things that were going on, and I had some things set up, and I was getting ready to my office. I just opened my office and the event space and all of that. And right when I was feeling like I was getting ready to really roll things out, here we went into quarantine. And I didn't know what I was going to do at that moment, because I had also gotten the girls, and I didn't know what I was going to do. But I had to put my hope in God. And let me tell you, he worked it out. He did. And so he knows the plan, as Jeremiah 29 and 11 says. He knows the thoughts that he thinks toward us. God has a perfect plan for our lives, and insecurities fit nowhere in there. And so we want to rid ourselves of these insecurities that will not only ruin our marriages or hinder our growth in our marriages, but also our spiritual growth. It will hinder our faith in God. It will hinder our trust in him and prevent us from excelling in life and becoming, eventually we'll get there, but sometimes we slow up the process when we are holding on to things that we no longer need to hold on to. I'm going to leave this thought with you. I heard this one day, and I can't really tell you who it was that said it because I can't remember. I read so many books. But when I heard this years ago, I read this book, and when I read this, I held on to this. It's not what people do to you, it's what people do for you. And so instead of looking at it from a victim place, instead of allowing that thing to cause you to feel insecure or to feel hurt or to feel pain, look at that thing and say, you know what? It wasn't what they did for me. To me, it was what they did for me, because I'm a better person. I've learned so many things by just changing my mind, shifting the way I look at things, and realize that God only allowed that to happen for my personal growth and development. And no matter how difficult the challenge of me overcoming that may have been, or the shock in some cases of it even happening, I know as long as I continue to love him, as long as I continue to do his will, that all things are working together for my good. So I just wanted to encourage you on today, and to let you know that I will be coming back as much as I possibly can to share more videos with you, as the president and founder, as well as a proud member of the Real Housewives of Christianity Association, to just encourage you to promote your marriage, to build your marriage, and in support of your marriage, to help you to be a wholesome woman, not broken. You are whole, a wholesome woman, to have a loving marriage, to be a loving wife, and how to have a healthy family. Because you know what? Our marriage, it's beautiful. And so thank you again for joining me, for joining my page. Please invite others to join us. And if you are interested in becoming a formal member of the association, please let me know. Right now we are offering a COVID discount of $50 general membership for 1 year. And we are looking forward to getting other ladies involved and rocking. That's right, we're going to rock this world. Well, until next time, I do hope and pray that you continue to be blessed and that you have a rocking day. Be blessed. Have an excelling one.